Hello, Husker fans. This is Sam McKewon along with Abby Barmore, the Omaha World-Herald, Big Red Today, and Omaha.com. Well, news out of Nebraska spring football practice today, the second to last spring football practice, and it wasn't great news. Thomas Fidone, the top recruit in the 2021 class, has suffered a severe knee injury. He's getting surgery tomorrow, and he will not be back not only for the spring game, but he's also going to miss the start of fall camp. That's pretty big news, unfortunately, for Nebraska. Fidone had been making a lot of progress, and the last scrimmage that he was in, he caught 4 or 5 passes and was sort of the talk of the scrimmage. That's a loss for Nebraska. He probably wasn't going to start. He was probably going to be the number 3 tight end or the number 4 tight end, depending on where Chris Hickman was. And now they're pretty much down to Austin Allen, Travis Vokalek, and Chris Hickman. Now that's a good position to be in. Nebraska's going to be fine there. But Fidone is a weapon that I'm sure the Huskers had hoped to use for a full season next year. Now it's probably going to be a 4-game season, but a notable experience for Nebraska. Scott Frost talking today about the spring game format. It's going to be 2 teams, big surprise, red and white. You're going to have one team that's going to have more of the veteran guys. The other one's going to have some of the younger guys. They're going to split them up. The first half, it's going to be the veteran guys playing, and they're going to have what they call thud tackle, right? So they're not going to injure themselves. The second half is going to be the young guys, and that's going to be live, because I think Nebraska still wants to see a few things from some of their younger players and see if they can get things done a little bit there. In terms of play calling, Matt Lubick's going to call the plays for both offenses, and Eric Chenander's going to call the plays for both defenses, and they'll be up in the box. In the past, I think those guys have been actually on the field, but I think they're going to be up in the box, and so it should be about a 2.5 hour game with lots of reps. Scott Frost called it a showcase for the fans. There'll be about 40,000 of them here. So there's a sense in there to some degree that this isn't going to be the most important spring practice, but it's the one that the fans will get to see, and it'll be a bit of a scrimmage. Abby, you talked to Tony Tuioti today, who has one of the deepest rooms among the Nebraska football positions, and he had a lot to say about some of the backups, not just the starters, but a couple guys behind the starters.
He talked a lot about Colton Feast today and how he's really grown up this spring and is developing really nicely. He said that he only knows one speed, and that speed is 100%. So he likes a lot what he's seeing from him and how he's like really soaking up a lot of information and taking on a little bit of a leadership role in there, being a little bit one of the older guys. Mm-hmm. He also talked about Jordan Riley, who he said is taking over 300 reps in this spring, and that was a number close to what Ty Robinson, who started last year, what he took last fall. Mm. So he's going to be a big contributor this fall. And also Damian Daniels touched on Jordan Riley also and said that he is a big guy. He eats up a lot of space, and he has really big hands, and he's been doing really well also, Damian said.
Riley's a guy that got hurt right before the beginning of last season, and so the chances of him being a major impact in 2021 are pretty high. He's probably in that rotation of 6 or 7 that Nebraska has, and they feel really good about that. Feast is obviously an in-state walk-on, and probably at this point an interior lineman who's ahead of Nash Hutmacher, ahead of Marquise Black, some of the other recruits. Obviously, Daniel said that Ruquan Buckley's coming along really well too. Talked to position coach Ryan Held, running backs. He was fired up. He was going today. I think he made about 4 Rocky IV references. And for anybody that's seen that movie, he was talking about the kind of training that the running backs need to do, being similar to the training that Rocky did in Siberia. So it gives you a sense of where his mindset is at and what he needs to see from his guys. Good news, all but 2 of the scholarship running backs should play on Saturday. The 2 that won't, Marquise Stepp, you knew that one. Ramir Johnson, who's been out for all of spring, really, with something. We've seen him kind of running on the sidelines at the open practice. So the other guys are going to play, and that includes Sevion Morrison, who I think Held is excited to see, and I think other people are excited to see. Held said that Morrison may have the best vision of any running back on the team. Marvin Scott, Gabe Irvin, Jaquez Yant. Yant obviously is a walk-on, and then Ronald Tompkins, who, if you were to ask me to put money on somebody who I thought was going to be the number 1 running back heading into summer, because we haven't seen anything from Marquise Stepp, I'd say it'd be Tompkins. But something could change on Saturday. You don't know. Sevion Morrison is a player that they very, very much want to see. And Held was honest about how frustrating it has been not to see Morrison much, because he's had injuries, health issues, all kinds of things. And Held was like, we're not going to get into what those things were, but we know that Morrison got COVID, but there's been some other things there too. He doesn't have that right now. So that'll be interesting to watch the running backs on Saturday. The other issue that was talked about today was the quarterbacks. Scott Frost was talked directly about Logan Smothers, said Smothers is still working on the throwing mechanics, has been doing that all spring. When he doesn't think about his throwing mechanics, he throws the ball a lot better than when he does. But he said that Smothers has gotten better and better and better and improved every single day here in spring. And the reason that matters is because he's probably your number 2 quarterback if they decide not to pursue a transfer guy this summer. I asked Frost directly, will you pursue one? Because after all, there's only one practice left. They ought to know by now. And Frost kind of hedged. He didn't exactly say. He said, we haven't made any firm decisions on that. They have 2 scholarship spots left. And their thinking on the process is they're going to prioritize the positions where they think they need the most help. And according to Frost, that is not necessarily quarterback. I don't know if that's a small tell or a big tell or whatever. Maybe he's hiding his intentions. We'll see. But I've said before, it's going to be hard to find the unicorn quarterback in the transfer portal who's a junior, who doesn't want to play, who's okay with being a backup, and simultaneously maybe not ever playing at Nebraska. It's going to be hard to find that guy. And the guy they tried to get decided he'd rather be a starter at New Mexico. So that gives you a sense of how challenging it is to find this player. At the end of the day, Nebraska may not pursue a starting quarterback. We'll have a spring game wrap-up video, so we'll definitely do that. But one thing to remember, after the spring game's over, they're going to have conversations with players. You're probably going to see a few players go into the transfer portal. That's common. It's natural. And we'll see what Nebraska pursues. I think offensive tackle might be one of those positions. I really do. And the other one, we'll see. Maybe defensive back, maybe pass rusher. Hard to find a pass rusher in the portal. We'll find out. We'll have the spring game on Saturday. We're going to have a recruiting preview video Thursday. We'll also have the podcast tomorrow for preview as well, so people can check that out. For Abby Barmore, I'm Sam McKewon with the Omaha World-Herald, Big Red Today, and Omaha.com. Thanks for watching.